The reason you haven't reached your goals yet isn't because you lack talent, it's because you talk too much. You've been told that sharing your dreams creates accountability, but that is a lie. You know that feeling, the sudden rush of pride when you tell a friend about your big plan. But have you ever noticed how the moment you sit down to actually work, the fire is gone and you feel spiritually bankrupt? You are building a kingdom out of air, and you're starting to feel the heavy, invisible burden of expectations you haven't even met yet. This is what we call carrying stones that aren't yours. A concept we will explore in depth later, showing you how it's the primary reason you feel so exhausted without even. Today, we're going to stop the leak. I'm going to show you how to move in the shadow so that by the end of this journey, you'll possess a silent authority that the world cannot touch. But before you can claim that power, you must understand the invisible burden that Julian carried, a mistake so subtle that you are likely making it right now at this very second. Julian sits in a buzzing cafe surrounded by the hollow chime of likes and the thick scent of roasted beans. He's just posted about a big breakthrough, yet the field is still nothing but dry, unplowed dirt. The validation pours in, sweet like a cheap syrup, but it leaves him feeling empty because he's addicted to the applause before the curtain has even risen. Every time a friend says, "Congratulations," his drive simply evaporates into the air. He is unknowingly carrying a mountain built out of his own loud, premature announcements. A heavy debt he hasn't earned. This is the ultimate invisible burden. He is burning all his precious fuel just to convince the world he's winning, while his soul is actually gasping for air. You see, Julian's tragedy isn't that he lacks talent, but that he is bleeding his dreams dry by the light. He has lost the ability to work in the shadow, where real magic actually happens. But what if I told you there is a specific physiological reason why your brain stops working once you talk about your plans? We'll reveal that chemical trap shortly, but first, you need to see the price Julian had to pay when he finally sought a way out. Julian finally stands before a heavy wooden door, his phone, his digital heartbeat, dead and cold in his pocket. Inside, he finds Grandmaster Haku studying blank maps, surrounded by a silence so thick it feels like a presence watching him. When Julian tries to brand his journey by describing his grand vision, Haku cuts him off with a single finger to his lips. Every word you speak is a leak in the reservoir of your soul's creative fire. To prove it, the master hands Julian a hollow bamboo pipe filled with water. The mission is simple but agonizing. Carry this water across the jagged mountain without saying a single word about its purpose. Julian feels a desperate itch to explain himself, to seek the likes and validation he's used to, but Haku offers no empty praise. Most people think they are building a bridge when they talk, but they are really just burning the wood they need to build it. By keeping his next move hidden even from the mountain wind, Julian is learning the first step of invisible progress. But Haku is hiding something in his sleeve, a secret weapon that will show Julian exactly how much of his future he's throwing away. Every time he opens his mouth, you'll see the devastating results of this test in a moment. The mountain air is thin and biting, a sharp contrast to the cozy, filtered warmth Julian is used to. As they climb, Julian grips the bamboo pipe until his knuckles turn white, feeling the water's cool vibration, his invisible progress, against his palms. But the itch to be witnessed is a hunger that can starve a man's soul. Unable to help himself, Julian leans toward Haku to whisper about his big vision for when he reaches the top. Suddenly, a sharp hiss cuts him off. Haku's hand moves like a striking cobra, a silver needle flashing as it pierces the bamboo. Julian watches in horror as a fine spray of water, his life force, hits the dry dirt and vanishes. You've just traded a gallon of your future for a spoonful of current attention, Haku remarks with eyes like cold flint. Think of your dream as a seed buried in the deep, quiet darkness. When you dig it up to show your friends how much it's grown, the premature praise withers it before it can even find its roots. With every explanation of "I'm planning to," another needle finds its home in the wood. The pipe is becoming lighter, but it's a terrifying, hollow lightness. He is literally losing the weight of his own authority with every word he speaks. But there is a deeper reason why Julian can't stop, a psychological glue that attaches us to these heavy stones, which we will uncover in the final revelation. They reach the summit where the wind screams, yet the master stands as steady as the mountain itself. Julian looks down at his bamboo pipe, now dry and light as a dead branch. He feels the sting of the cold air, realizing he has nothing to offer the world but his own breath. But then, Haku uncorks his own pipe, and the sound is like a deep sigh of absolute relief. As the master pours his shimmering preserved water over the roots of an ancient tree, the silver bark begins to glow with a life Julian never thought possible. A seed grows in the dark. It dies if you dig it up to show the world. Haku whispers, "This is the chemical trick your brain plays on you. Every time you tell someone what you're going to do, you get a fake hollow hit of dopamine that makes you feel like you've already crossed the finish line. You become a person of beautiful story and ugly results." Julian finally understands that by talking, he was exposing his soul to a drought of his own making. But how do you actually close the leaks when the itch to speak becomes unbearable? And what happens to the man who finally stops carrying the weight of everyone else's opinion? The answer lies in a ritual Julian is about to begin, a bridge that leads directly to the life you were meant to live. Julian walked down that mountain differently walked up. He didn't pull out his phone to record the view or text his friends to tell them he'd found the secret. He simply walked, his footsteps heavy with a new kind of substance, the weight of a man who finally has something to protect. He realized that the world doesn't need your plan, it needs your results. But let's be honest, you've been bleeding your power out for far too long, trading your future empire for a few seconds of attention. Many of the stories you hear here aren't just stories. They reflect the invisible weight you may be carrying every day, the same heavy, invisible burden of expectations that nearly broke Julian's spirit. If you're tired of holding pain, responsibility, and guilt that were never yours, I created a guide to help you find that same mountain silent. It's called The Weight of Stones That Are Not Yours. It's for those who want to let go, set boundaries, and finally live with the lightness Julian discovered when he dropped his empty pipe into the snow. When you grab your copy today through the link in the description or the pinned comment, I'm also including 2 vital tools to ensure your water never leaks again. You'll receive the bonus, Learning to Let Go, which teaches you how to stop digging up your seeds to show the world, and when saying no is an act of self-love, the ultimate shield against those who try to fill your pipe with their own expectations. Don't let your next move evaporate into steam. Stop being a storyteller and start being a creator. The link is waiting. It's time to let the water stay in the pipe until it's time to water your own legendary tree.